Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm just working away over here. Forgot all about turning the camera on. Now, these are the knives from my friend Clay in Hawaii. And I've got two roughly done. Fixing to do the third one. I thought I'd show them to how I'm going to do them right quick. Now, this one is a hidden tang. It took a little more doing. I had to disassemble it all together to this is the piece of leftovers. So what I did on the tang there, I milled on the milling machine if you can see that slot like that, put in there, epoxied it all back up. No need for a pin because the steel, this is hardened steel anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to drill it, but that'll never go anywhere. I fitted it very closely. I measured it about 20 times and I put it on the milling machine vertical, took an end mill and kept going and going and going until I got it just almost perfect. Now on this one I've still got to grind everything smooth, trim the corners. The pin had aluminum pin in it, and it wouldn't come out, so I had to drill it out, take it out, and I put a stainless steel pin back in there. So once it's polished up, it'll look just fine. Now, can't grind it or fool with it too much until it dries overnight. I want it to be a good dry bond. Now there's the old stack leather handle that came off of it. This one wasn't in too bad a shape. One of them broke. But this one is a full tang, which the leather handle on there, and I did not disassemble this one, because when I started taking the handle off, the stack leather, it just started coming to pieces. Very dry, very brittle. So the spacers in here, I lost a little piece of one on the bottom, or I lost a whole one on the bottom. Same way, very dry, very brittle. So I figured I'd just leave well enough alone. Same on this one. Let it dry overnight, and I'll grind it. And grind it, shape it, all that neat stuff, polish it. Now this one, the reason we don't want to put pins in those, this is a skeleton handle. That one over there is identical. A pin through the middle there somewhere would not do any good whatsoever. Now these knives are all from the 60s. They did not have modern epoxies like we do today. So when I epoxy this on there, it will not come off. It'll be there forever. Now these knives are not used anyway. I mean, they're not carried. So they are out of a collection. Now when I took that stack leather handle off of that one, same thing, it came off in chunks. Now this one, somebody had put lacquer, some kind of lacquer on it at one time or another. Now lacquer on leather is not a good idea. Now, like the last knife in the last video that you've seen, that one is oiled and waxed. But being is we're going to put this red stag on there, may or may not lacquer that. We'll have to wait and see. But there we go. Now I just thought I'd show you how I'm going to glue these up right quick, and that'll be it for today, and then tomorrow we'll pick it back up. Alright, let's get us a little bit of epoxy mixed up here. Let's put some of that painter's tape down on the table. When we get done, we just peel it up and throw it away. Get about equal parts. Take our high-tech tool here, our little stick. Give it a good mix. Now, even though this is 5-minute epoxy, 5-minute set, it's still, before you start grinding on it and heating it up, it still needs to cure overnight. Okay, there we go. Acid brush. Coat our epoxy on there. Don't be shy with it. And get the ends. That piece will fit on there like that. And same thing with this one. Fitted it with the milling machine. It's a very tight, very close tolerance fit. Like this. Get that one set where we want it. Wipe that off. Now here we're going to fill this groove here. And this, when this dries, it will be all one solid piece. This end will fit right in there like that. There. Now we'll put it in the vise. Now it fits very good together, so we don't need to romp down on it real hard, just a little bit of pressure. And this one fit closer, the antler on this one fitted closer than any of the rest of them, so I don't have a lot of grinding to do on it. But it's okay, it's gonna look nice. Well, there we go. We'll let it all dry, everything dry overnight. I've got one more to do. It's gonna take a different kind of handle. It's gonna take an elk handle, elk stag. But we'll work on that one tomorrow, because it is late in the day and I am tired. Time to go inside and get a sandwich or something. So there we go. That's the work for today. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Well, good morning. Let's work a little bit this Sunday morning. I'm not going to work all day, just a little bit. The last knife in the Hawaii collection, I've got the old handle off. And there's half of it. I basically had to destroy it to take it off, because I didn't want to pull the pommel off, because these pins won't come out. You have to drill them out like I did the first one. So it's some kind of very, very, very hard plastic, maybe Delrin or Bakelite, something like that. Bakelite was really popular back in the 60s. That may be what it is, but anyway, I took a big chunk of elk horn, cut a section off, took it over to the bandsaw and split it down the middle. I got this one side intact. And that elk horn was just big enough. So I'm gonna get it lined up, trace out the finger grooves, the mark here, and we'll do the same thing on this one. We'll take it to the milling machine and do the final trimming on that. So we'll get a good precise fit. I'll do this one, then I'll match it with that one, and we'll get it epoxied on there, let it dry, and we'll finish up all 4 of these knives probably tomorrow. These are looking very nice. Epoxy's dried very good. Still have to grind them and get everything flat, flush, trimmed, beveled. It's gonna be nice. Alright, so let me work on this and I'll show y'all some more progress here in a little bit. Alright, I'm having a couple of camera issues here, so I hope this picks up. Now, I got the handle dry fitted on there. One more milling operation. Gonna mark this slot here. And this is the same way I did the first one. I don't think I showed that. And we'll take it back to the mill. And we're gonna mill out a groove for the blade to fit down in. So when I put this side on, it will all be flush. And that tang will be buried in there. And will never, ever, ever come out. There we go. Let's go do that. There we go. Still watching this camera. It's sort of goofing a little bit. Now we have our slot milled in there, nice and flat. And when this piece goes on, it will match up flush with that. Now I'm going to thin this down a little bit, grind some off here, get it even as possible before I glue it. And also before I glue it, I'll go ahead and start the finger grooves over on the 1x30. There we go, making progress. And once this is epoxied up, that'll be it for today. Pardon me. Thought I'd show you right quick before I grind the grooves. See how that fits in there nice and flat and flush? That's what I'm looking for. Alright, I do not know what's going on with this camera. But I think we're going again. Now anyway, I've got the finger grooves roughed in. Now when I get it all together, I'll go back with the Dremel tool and the sanding drum, and I'll finish them out. Just wanted the indentations where they're supposed to be. Now I'm going to epoxy this up, let it sit, and I will see y'all tomorrow with knife work. Got something else got to do this afternoon, which will be interesting. Alrighty, got 2 of the free-handle knives done. Before I get too far along, I thought I'd show you the roughing end part. We're grinding everything flat and flush. Then I'll take it over and take the Dremel tool and do the rest of it, then we'll polish. Now this is the 1x30 Harbor Freight Special. A lot of people, a lot of knife makers say they're useless, and they would be wrong. So very handy tool. And it just takes going very slow, very careful, steady hand, and a lot of light, which I've got plenty of light where I can see it real good. The camera is in my way, so we'll try to work around it for just a few minutes. There we go. This is one of the full tang ones. We're going to go down to the steel, top of the tang right there. And that's roughed in there. Now we'll finish this off with the Dremel and the polisher. We'll just keep nibbling away like that. Nibble, nibble, nibble. Can't try to take too much at one time. And that's that. And we'll show them to you again here in just a little bit. Not far from being finished. Alright, working on the last one. Save the hardest one for last. Now this one, the original handle had these finger grooves in here. And I've got those indented in one side. I'm going to take the Dremel. And this is a carbide cutting blade. And I have to be very careful, but I'm just going to trim that down, get it trimmed down to the as close to this as I can. Then we'll do the final sanding on the edges for the finish. Now I'll show you a little bit of that. Now, just like that. Now, when I get it shaped out like I want it, I'll go back with a sanding drum, like this one, and smooth everything out. Then I'll finish up the fit on the back. Then we're ready. Now, this one being that elk that I had, we have to put a little bit of stain on it, make it look nicer. And then we will polish and buff everything. Alright, let's take a look at the Shcrade Waldons and the Western knives from Hawaii. They are all finished. Shameless plug. Now this top one, that's the one that has the elk stag that I cut and put on there. I videoed a lot of it, and some of it got lost in this camera that's goofed up, but I got the most of it in there. And then these are the red stag that Clay provided to me. And the sheath repair wound up being a little bit wider than the original, because the only snaps I have are these larger snaps, which are better than those kind that came on there anyway, but I think. But there we go. And I could not match the color exactly, but over time it should darken a little bit, make it look okay. It's usable and serviceable, so that's always good. Well, there they are. Very shiny. They're shiny already, but I just touched them up a little bit. I didn't cut them very deep with a polishing compound. I just used a real light compound, polished them back up. Got all the brass polished back up. There is the old stack leather that came off, and the plastic handle that came off. And unless Clay wants all these back, I'll just get rid of the stack leather and keep these little red stag pieces here. Maybe I'll use them for something one day. It's always good to have little stuff like that. These plastic handles can go bye-bye unless he wants them. But there you go. I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I appreciate y'all watching very much. If you have projects like this, something you want worked on, rehandled, repolished, resharpened, anything, if it has to do with a knife and you want it done, let me know, and chances are I can do it. If I can't do it, I'll tell you I can't do it. But there we go. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I will see y'all on the next video.